Hey guys, it's MJ, the student actuary, and today I'm going to be talking about defined benefit versus defined contribution pension funds. And just before we get started, I have to give this disclaimer because I'm not a financial advisor. So don't take this advice and be silly with your money, then come blame me. Anyway, so we can begin. Pensions. What are pensions? Whenever you think of the word pension, you typically think of old people. Why? Because old people are the beneficiaries of pensions. However, pensions actually apply to everyone because it's young people that, well, as soon as you start working, you start putting money aside for your pension. And so you're the contributor and the old people are the beneficiaries, but we just call them pensioners when they start receiving it. So that's why we think they're old people. But it's actually a lifelong product. And my definition of a pension, it is remuneration that aids with your retirement. So it's part of your salary. So when you go work for a company, part of the deal is, yes, I'm going to be paid a monthly amount, which is going to cover all my costs, but I'm also going to be getting this pension fund as one of part of my package, part of my benefits, part of my remuneration, is that some of my money from my salary is going to go into this pension fund, and the company is also going to make a contribution. And the idea is that we put all this money together into a fund, investors take care of it, and then when I retire, I have enough money to continue living without working when I reach a certain age. Now, you get two types of pensions, well, two main types. There's defined benefit, and that is when, with the defined benefit, it says just roughly, defined benefit is when you retire, you will receive 10,000 every month. So they're defining the benefit. You will receive this 10,000 regardless if the stock market crashed the night before you were supposed to get your pensions or it shot up tenfold. You're going to get 10,000. Whereas defined contribution is the other one, and that one says it doesn't matter. They don't care about your benefit. What they care about here is the contribution is defined. So you will be paying 500 every month towards your pension, whether the stock market's doing great, whether the stock market's doing badly, whether the pension fund's up, whether the pension fund's down, you will be making your contribution of 500 if that is what it's defined to be. So bear that in mind when we talk about there's two main parties involved in a pension fund. There's lots, but the two main ones are the employer and the employee. Okay? And defined benefit and defined contribution works in favor of the different ones. So, and in order to talk about which one's better, we have to understand risk. So, what risk is? It is the probability that you don't get what you were expecting. So, the risk in retirement is not having enough money to carry on living. So what's very nice about the defined benefit is that there is no risk for the employee because the benefit is defined to be 10,000 a month, which means if the pension fund does really badly, the employer has to meet that shortfall and has to pay extra money, and they cover the cost. They take on what we call the risk. So that's good. Well, my opinion, this is not financial advice. So in my opinion, it is much better if you're working as an employee to receive a defined benefit, because this means that no matter what happens in the stock market or whatever is being invested, you will receive your benefit, which will help you live your life. Defined contribution, on the other hand, in my opinion, is very good for the employer, but is not very good for the employee. Defined contribution, the risk is on you, the employee. So you're giving your 500 every single month. If the stock market crashes the night before you're supposed to get your pension, that's tough cookie for you and life sucks. And that's not really fun. Now, employers try and sell the defined contribution fund to the their employees by saying, well, if the stock market does really great, you're going to get even more. But remember, a pension is there, it's more of a protection product to help you live rather than a get-rich scheme. If you want to try get rich using investments, risk all your money in the casino or in a hedge fund. It's kind of like the same thing. With a pension, you want your money to be safe, and that's what a defined benefit does. However, defined benefits require actuaries to value them and to sign off on them and to give advice. Whereas defined contribution doesn't really need that. It's much simpler to handle. And so I guess in conclusion, because I don't want to make this too much of a long video, I mean, people have written books on the subject, is that if you are an employee, defined benefit is, in my opinion, good, and defined contribution is bad. And my opinion is based on the fact on who handles the risk. Defined benefit, the company's handling the risk. Defined contribution, you're handling the risk. And as an old person who is going to be very dependent on that cash, when they retire, you do not want to be taking that risk. And yeah, that is defined benefit versus defined contribution. If you have any other topic that you would like me to speak on, put it down in the comment section below. Cheers, guys.